evening, everyone, and welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. Team Handsome is back with its newest and most handsome member, Dora. But I'm joined by Stefan and Dora tonight after an extremely odd football match. But I think, first of all, I'd like to check in with Dora and see how you're feeling with your football team, I imagine, back home now.
Honestly, I don't care anymore. I'm just enjoying the rest of the football games. I feel that even if we went through, I think we would lose. We would actually lose to Switzerland. So yeah, I'm realistic. I'm not delusional, but yeah. Thank you for having me. Sorry, I was a bit late. We are having a massive heat wave once again. I needed to step out of the house for a bit. So yeah.
What was going on?
Sorry, what?
Did you have to step out of your house?
Yeah, I had to quickly walk my dog this late in the evening because it's really hot. Like it's 11:30, and it's so hot that I can't walk him, earlier. And yeah, it's I think 26 degrees Celsius, 11:30.
That's a nightmare.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So yeah, I needed to refresh myself as well. So yeah, good to see you guys.
It's good to see you, Dora, and it's good to see Stefan. I assume it's not 26 degrees where you are.
Nah. We've had a pretty wet day, to be honest. But it's kind of sticky now. You know what I mean? It's just like heating up, but still raining. So yeah, it's pretty humid. But it is what it is.
All right, gang. Should we see who we've got in the comments?
Yeah.
Because first off, after a disastrous performance last night, it's the President of the United States, 5,000. Big up, everyone. How are we? Italy out. Time to crack a drink. Mr. Potus, are you not a fan of the Italians? In celebration of Italy leaving. And look at this stranger. It's DK Wilson. Hello, DK. How are you? We haven't seen much of you over the Euros, so feel free to tell us what you're thinking about other matches and things. And I mean, Stefan, has there been? I haven't really looked at the news today. Has anything happened with United today that I should be aware of during the Man United channel show?
I mean, the Ligt thing seems to be heating up a little bit, but I don't know, man. He's he played 30 matches for Bayern last year. He was just injured all the time again. Do we need another injury-prone centre back? I don't know.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have a good collection. So the more we have, the better. Then surely, but maybe if we sign 10 centre backs, we'll eventually be able to pick them all at some point. Who knows? But yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, the Xerxes thing still going on, but we'll see how that goes.
All right, we'll probably deal with that later in the week. All right.
Yeah.
What do we think? Which game would you like to start with? The one we've just seen, or Italy versus the Swiss?
Why not go with Italy and Swiss?
Yeah. Bloody dreadful, Italy, in my opinion.
Awful.
What went wrong, Dora?
I think this is probably, I know people are going to say the team that failed to qualify for the last World Cup is worse, but I think this is probably the worst Italy that I've seen in my lifetime. And that says a lot. They always had solid teams, they always had great teams, but it feels like they are quite disjointed and sloppy and slow. And unfortunately, besides maybe Chiesa and maybe Nicolo Barella, I think they don't have standout guys. They're all solid on paper, right? They are all Serie A, playing in Serie A, most of them. But it feels rough for Italy, especially in the last few years. And I think this game particularly showcased why they were so dreadful and why were they so lucky to go through the groups. And I know it's bitterness out to me because that freaking ref that was refereeing that our game against Italy, he was sent home. He's not going to ref. He's not going to be a ref anymore. He's not going to be at Euros because they realized that
they've banned him from reffing.
Not banned from reffing, but he's not going to ref on the tournament anymore. And I think that says a lot. But I'm not going to dwell on that. I think that even if Croatia went through, we would struggle against Switzerland and probably lose. So yeah, but I need to say that what I noticed from this game is that Switzerland looks, they don't have necessarily stars. I mean, Xhaka is their biggest name, and they have some other players like Fabian Scher, Jan Sommer, but they are collectively such a good team in terms of they don't have standouts, but they are playing simple, fast.
I mean, Akanji, Dora, is a treble.
Of course, Akanji. Yeah, oh my God, how could I forget? But yeah, from what I saw today from them is that the team that is going to get them next game, I think England. I'm not sure.
Yes. Well, hope so.
Hope so. Yeah, we still don't know. I think they are going to England. If England goes through Slovakia, I think this is going to be a really rough game for them because Swiss don't necessarily have the most outstanding players, but the way they play as a team is amazing. I think they are very direct. I think I think Xhaka is playing a great tournament as well. I think the way they are exposing defenses is really good, and I think you guys are going to say it in more detail, but I was really impressed with them, with how they play. But it didn't help. It did help that Italy was so poor, so disjointed. Like they try to defend, but even with that formation, they are just freaking awful. Probably the worst, with that team that failed to qualify for the last World Cup. This is probably the worst state Italy was in decades, I would say.
All right. Well, before we get to Stefan, we've got some comments to do. And we've got Matty Bassett saying, good evening to everyone. I hope you're doing well, my friend. We've got Bart. He agrees with Stefan's take on De Ligt, so I'm sure you're delighted. And now we've got some expert punditry from my friend and co-owner of the channel. It's Mr. B. Oh, my God, Italy is shit. It's the worst Italian team for years.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with Mr. B there. But I really like this from Matty. He's saying that Italy needed characters. Watching today, they had nothing. And when I come back to you, Stefan, I just want you to sort of think maybe of some of those larger-than-life Italian personalities we've seen over the years. Mario, Luigi, etc.
That's borderline. That's borderline.
No, it's not. No.
Okay. Kidding. I'm just kidding.
Here's someone who's borderline. It's Vincent. He's a big Madonna fan. Bar is saying the gulf between Serie A and the top two leagues is all the more apparent now. I mean, Serie A had a Champions League semi-finalist last year, and they've Fiorentina did back to back.
And finalist with Onana, Inter against City.
All right, important news from DK Wilson. It's 37.22 degrees centigrade in Austin. I don't know why you're there. You're from Dutch Pennsylvania. England Southgate making queasy. After the calls during the Denmark-Germany game that allowed Germany to get the lead led me to turn it off. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And a huge shout out and commiserations to our girl Emma Kay from Denmark. Your boys did you proud, I think, this evening, Emma, and it really felt like a toss of a coin game. But we'll come on to that later. We got Big G in the house, and Mr. POTUS is saying we won't beat Slovakia. I have no hope. All right, Stefan, to finish off on Italy, talk me through what you saw. I think you told me you were impressed with the positions that the Swiss were taking up in attack.
Yeah, I mean, international football is a weird one. Like I'm sure you guys know, they really don't get a lot of time to work on building really huge systems and stuff, and a lot of it is down to kind of like players' understandings. But if you look at that Swiss team, they kind of have everything that a decent international team needs. They've got a good goalkeeper, an experienced backline, hard-working midfield, and they've got a lot of pace and energy up front. They're a handful of a team, but Italy couldn't get out. Italy spent most of that match in their own half, not able to get on the ball. And in the heat, they were made to work for it as well. Like they really didn't get a press or anything going. But I don't know. Like that Italy team's weird, man. Like lack of characters. I think that was a real good point there. To be fair, you think back to that last Italy team that won the European Championships. They had Chiellini, they had Bonucci. Players like that were really important to that team, and that really made a difference for them in that tournament. Look, I've seen it back so many times. I'm sure you guys remember Euro final. Bukayo Saka was going right through. Giorgio Chiellini just got him by the collar and just pulled him to the ground. But I don't think Italy had that level of commitment today. Like, I don't think anyone was willing to do something like that. But it's one of these things that just needs to be done. And I don't know, like, Italy have had a weird habit of tournaments where they just tend to play shit and then just end up in a quarterfinal or semifinal, and everyone says, "How did these guys even get here?" But not this time. there just was nothing. There was no quality. There's no grit or steel, and the better team won. Like it could have been a lot more. Like Switzerland had a lot of chances. It genuinely could have been 3 or 4-0. Italy
hit
close
the woodwork twice.
Yeah. One time was from a weird header back, and then Scamacca. They all count. But and then Scamacca hit the post in another weird one. But it was just a weird match, man. Like, I don't know. I just think Italy are just gonna have to go back to the drawing board. I think they got some decent young players. I think Bastoni's pretty good. I think Calafiori's pretty good.
They missed him, didn't they, today?
Yeah. They've got 2 good centre backs for the future, but outside of that, I really can't see the quality. Like, Matteo Darmian starting in a European Championship kind of says it all. But
I think for me, like, anyone who's sort of watched the eye test or anything like this knows that there are a couple of things that I hate, and the 3-5-2 was one of them, because you're basically giving your width to defenders, and those defenders have got to get up the pitch and so on. And so I'm a little bit disappointed in this tournament that we've got so many 3-5-2s playing. But Italy's their wing backs, was it Di Lorenzo? And
he's awful.
Yeah, like really not impressed with Italy, and it's a shame, because I think that when you look at some of the players that Italy have produced, you get the fun ones like Rino Gattuso. You get, in my view, one of the most underrated players of all time in Totti. And then you even get these sort of crazy strikers like Montello, Vieri, geniuses like Del Piero. Yeah, fat boys like Cassano. He loved it. And
Di Natale.
Well, less so for him, but I think that, like, I would like to see Italy come back stronger, because I think that they've always had something that other Europeans don't have, which is flair combined with dirtiness, and that is exactly what I'm looking for, Dora. Right. Let's do some quick comments. Now, this is really good from Big G. 3 or 4 of the Swiss players played for Bologna, including that Rodriguez guy. So, yeah.
And Doya.
Sorry?
I think Ndoye as well. I cannot remember the next 2, but yeah, a lot of them are playing for Bologna.
Right. Mr. POTUS continuing his aggressive overseas policy against anything to do with Italy. So it's not a shame. Don't lie to us. The only Italian player I ever liked was Ravanelli. That's it. God, they produced some wonderful players over the years. JR and Mr. POTUS are arguing about refs, and Big G has brought something up that I haven't seen. Newcastle are going to sell Gordon to Liverpool. I mean, the kid can't even ride a bicycle. You see the state of him?
No.
I seen it. An electric bike or something. He said he went 10 feet in the air and just landed face first. Well, I don't know.
Unreal.
I don't know.
Okay, right. Let's get on to the main event. Germany versus Denmark. Dora, where would you like to start? Do you want to do the do you want to do the actual time flow of the match, or do you want to talk about decisions or performances?
Let's talk about breaks, because I think it killed the momentum of the game, honestly, especially for someone like Denmark, who at that moment in time were actually started playing really well. It's unfortunate, right? You cannot play in those conditions. I know that some people are going to say, "Oh my God," but people who live in that climate in the last decade or so, like we have the same climate as people in Germany, right? Like whenever it's that hot, if you're having 35, 36, 37 degrees all day, of course you're going to, and humidity is high, you're going to expect huge thunderstorms, and it's really dangerous to play. Like even hailstones were falling. So I think it was a good decision to and of course the rain was insane. I think they did a really good job of draining the pitch quickly, and I think that was a good decision on breaking. But I need to say, so, like Mike Oliver is like, I know he's going to be talked about a lot. I feel that first, I think that decision of how do you say it? I think that disallowed goal, first disallowed goal of Germany. I didn't feel like that there was a foul. In all honesty, I felt that
Really?
Ooh.
was
You're
it a foul on Schmeichel?
No.
Kasper Schmeichel.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, I haven't watched the replay
Okay,
because they haven't
it's
showed
a
it.
clear,
Because
Dora,
they
it's
haven't showed it
clearly
immediately.
disallowed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
absolutely 100%. Like,
Okay, cool.
Kimmich
Okay, cool.
block
Yeah.
someone. Like, don't
Okay,
get
cool.
mad at me because Croatian TV isn't showing you what you need to show.
No. Oh my gosh, shut up. No, literally, they haven't changed they didn't show the replay.
They didn't show it?
And, no, they haven't. And then they showed it, I think, at the half when the how do you say it? When the game was
Suspended.
suspended. And of course I'm not going to watch a freaking our analysts talking about it. I don't care. I went
You got dogs
out
to walk.
yeah, I have a dog to walk. But yeah, at first okay, cool, that's okay. But it's just, I don't know, the flow of the game was kind of done for me. And then half time, after 15 minutes after the break, oh my God, that. And then I just feel like Denmark lost by their individual mistakes. I think over the course of the game, I felt that they were kind of there. I think they could have scored, but unfortunately, even for us Manchester United fans, I felt that Højlund had a poor game again. His finishing was poor, in my opinion, and I hate to say it because I still think that he's going to come good for United. But at this moment in time, his form is absolutely shocking. Like, I think he should watch Musiala, and how he finishes, and maybe take some notes, because he had I think he could have, bring Denmark that victory. And I felt bad for Danes, but yeah, I think the flow of the game with those breaks were kind of,
I kind of agree. Like, I always sort of think about the players more than managers and coaches and things like that. But this time I thought about myself, because I was really enjoying the game, and then it stopped because of a thunderstorm, as if Eriksen's going to get struck by lightning or something. And then so we have a break. It's annoying. We then have an extended half time, and when it gets to about the 75th minute, I'm done. Like, I thought that the weather wrecked it. But Stefan, right?
Yeah.
How about this? Actually, tonight we saw Kai Havertz playing for Germany, and we saw Rasmus Højlund playing for Denmark. What's going on with these two forwards? Who had a better game? Like, is Dora being harsh on Rasmus? What does Kai Havertz do?
Do you know, a lot of the time, like, I do think that you get pretty poor commentary and punditry over here, but I actually do think Ali McCoy does talk some sense. And the more he pointed it out, the more you're watching it, like, is Højlund hitting the ball with real conviction? Or is he just hitting, like, is he panicking, or like, what is it? Because he gets these snapshots, it's right at the goalkeeper, and I'm like, if he did just go either side, if he just had to look up, like, he probably finds the back of the net, because he had some pretty good opportunities, maybe 3 or 4, which is interesting, because in the other matches in this tournament, like a lot of his United matches, he's been pretty anonymous, maybe one chance a match. So I do feel like he's a massive confidence player, but I feel like Havertz had a pretty good match for Germany. I think he had some nice touches. Should have scored. Like there was one where he just
The
kind of
header.
dragged the ball. No, the one where he like kind of dragged the ball with his foot
One
Oh,
on
round
one.
his other leg.
That was
Yeah,
a
and he got
wonderful
1-on-1.
piece of skill to get
Yeah,
away
yeah.
from the player.
Yeah.
It's such a shame he didn't score that, because that might have been one of the goals of the tournament if he
Yeah.
did. But I think like he has a much, he just seemed much more composed, and like he actually wanted the ball in those dangerous areas to have those shots. Whereas Hoyland's like panicking. He's like, "Oh shit, someone's passed me the ball. What am I going to do with it?"
Right. What are you telling me that like Hoyland, when he strikes the ball, he does tend to strike it quite cleanly and with a lot of
he
power.
does.
But you think he's just trying to get good contact on the ball because he's lacking confidence?
I feel like he gets very good connection on the ball. He can really strike the ball. We've seen that. But where's the composure? To put it either side, just don't hit it right at the goalkeeper. There's a couple of times he just had shots and it just was straight at Neuer, like right where the goalkeeper would have wanted it, make him work. If you stick it in the corner and the keeper saves it, then it's a good save. Like, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I just think he's a confidence player. I think he's lucky really that he's only turned 21 pretty recently. He's got time on his side, but I don't know. I think he needs to have a much bigger season next year. Hopefully, with Van Nistelrooy coming in, maybe that'll make a difference. I don't know.
Hopefully.
They needed Rude tonight, didn't they?
If not, just put Rude on the pitch. Maybe he'll do a better job. I don't know.
What I thought watching Rasmus tonight is like I'm not a very good finisher. Like I've always had a problem with it, but I know players who are, and they're always killers. And Rasmus, he's not a killer. And I noticed that Ian Wright, who was a killer, he did some commentary that I listened to. And he was talking about the foot placement that Rasmus did for where he tried to lift it over the keeper, and how Rasmus slowed when he shouldn't have slowed. And it's just tiny details like that are what take you from 10, 15 goals to 25 goals. And I felt that, like, I don't know if the boy needs a break. Like, if just when one goes in, we'll see a glut of goals coming, which is kind of what happened at United.
Yeah.
But I'm still, jury's still out a bit for me on Hoyland. I felt his hold-up play was again really poor tonight. But as Stefan said, he was more involved. So I just want to get some comments. But we can continue. We continue with that. Hoyland hasn't even scored in this tournament. I hate to say it, but I think Hoyland should be. I don't think Hoyland should be our main centre forward. He makes great runs, but he's not world class. Let's hope Rude sorts out Hoyland. I'm underwhelmed by Hoyland ever since we signed him. Oh God, Hoyland's second half shot directly at Neuer in the second half was awful. Wide open to Neuer's left, sharp strike to the short corner, either score. I do know what you mean, DK Wilson. I think I'm a big fan of players that hit near post shots, like Mbappe and Cavani do it quite a lot. And I felt a near post was good there. Even Mr. B is saying Hoyland needs some finesse when he finishes, a little bit of that secret sauce. And Big G, Hoyland can't finish with Toffee. Hopefully, Rude will teach him the right way. Hoyland just isn't it for our club. We are Manchester United. We should have someone world class up front. Okay. What I want to discuss now is actually very quickly, Christian Eriksen. I thought he played very well this evening.
Yeah.
Why
as a left winger. As a left winger.
Well, I mean, why don't we see this for United? Is he more interested in Denmark? Is it the setup of the team, Dora? What's going on there?
I feel that, they're playing differently than what Ten Hag wants to do.
With a midfield.
Definitely. I think what he provided on that left wing, like I'm saying, of course, there were some situations where he's obviously not press resistant. He's losing, whenever someone sneaks up to him, or he cannot hold the ball that well when he's under pressure. But whenever he got that ball on that left wing, and it helped that Germany is playing high line, they're not going to park the bus. I think he was on point tonight. I felt that Delaney was good. Hoiberg was a bit iffy. I think defensively he was much better, but overall their midfield was really good, and I think Christian Eriksen is a massive a factor on that. And kudos to him, right? I think it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if it's an international football, club football. It's always hard to play technically out of position. Of course, he roamed a lot. He wasn't necessarily on the left wing all the time, but whenever he was in those spaces, he would, pinpoint those balls, and he had a really good game. I don't think that with the way Ten Hag wants us to play, with the high press and trying to dispossess the opposing team in their half, I don't think he can fit in that system at all, unfortunately for us.
So, Stefan, would you agree with Dora here that, despite Eriksen seeming to occupy the left wing, he was drifting inside, making a box midfield?
Yeah, I never really got the sense that he was playing like traditional left wing. He wasn't going to knock the ball past Kimmich and just run into the byline. Like, I think that would have been a surprising one if we'd seen it. But yeah, I think like the way we use Eriksen at United compared to what we see at Denmark's a very different player. At Denmark, he's got Højbjerg, he's got Delaney, he has Neugaard all behind him. At United, he tends to be a lot deeper, and I think it's because Ten Hag's wanted to have someone with some more on-ball quality in the deeper zones. Like, you watch him, he'll be taking the ball off the centre backs whenever an opposition's low blocking us, for instance. But
so more of a sort of Tony Cruz role that we saw tonight for the Germans.
Kind of. I do feel like he tried to shoehorn him into what he wanted from Frankie de Jong, but never really got there because he doesn't have the physical attributes. I know he can cover distance, but there's no power in his running or anything. But
and he got done at Brentford. If you do you remember those two goals?
Yeah, I think it's maybe Brentford's fourth one. I always remember this like a shocking De Gea pass out to Eriksen. It was just like four Brentford players on him. He had no chance, to be fair to him. But I think that's always what he'd been better at. He's got good technique. Yeah, he can hit the ball long, but put him closer to goal. Like, that's where he played his best football for Spurs. So he played his best football for Ajax. Even at Inter Milan, they had him doing that role as well. But yeah, I mean, international football is always different. Denmark's way of playing is always different, and I don't know. Like, I do think I would be surprised since there next season. To be honest, like that would be my assessment of it. I know there's rumors of him going to Turkey or somewhere because he wants to be playing more. I don't know. I just feel like towards the end of last season, he was a player who couldn't play full 90s, or at least just looked like he tired towards the end, probably because of how we're playing as well. But I don't know. I've always liked Eriksen, but I do think his time might be up at United as well.
All right. Well, we've got some comments where Simon is saying that Eriksen is the country's most capped player.
Yeah.
JR thinks Eriksen plays too deep for United. He needs to play where Bruno plays. And Big G echoes this, but with more sort of like bodily insults. Got damn United, give the kid a chance. Don't sheep into the anti-United media narrative. I mean, that's a sheepish comment in itself, to be honest. Like, everyone has given pretty decent reasons about why they're not completely sold on Eriksen, and to label it as part of like Samuel Lucker's evil empire trying to take over the world is probably even more dumb. Mr. POTUS is saying it's great to see Eriksen on the pitch. I mean, yeah, it's true. He died in the last Euro, so fantastic that he's back. And glad Eriksen came off when the Lightning came on, as he had a pacemaker inserted. And this could be Eriksen's last European tournament. Now, just before we get to the decisions, I want to just spend a quick bit. I want to do a quick holomy on Jamal Musiala. I'm in love. Like, I am. I am. Wow. Honestly, boys and girls, what a footballer that guy is. And I know that he's sort of like half English or something, but I didn't realise he actually grew up in England. Like, I can't believe they let him get away. Dora, oh no, Stefan, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to add, sorry, that he had played for England youth for every level except for senior level, right up to 21s, and somehow it's just fallen through the cracks. Yeah.
It's like Declan Rice style.
Oh my God, a traitor.
I can't say that.
So, I mean, like, Dora, you, Croatia have produced some extraordinary midfielders. Not too many that I think operate brilliantly behind, between the lines. Like Boban and Modric were more sort of behind the ball players, but of an incredible quality. I mean, what do you see from like Jamal Musiala, and compare him to say Bruno, who's kind of playing in the same position but different styles?
Yeah, I mean, Musiala is quite flexible, right? He can play left wing, right wing, in the middle, and he roams a lot. I think he's physical. He's lanky, but he's physical. He's fast. He's great on the ball, and the way he, strikes the ball, and the way that time you love talking about the body shape. He has amazing body shape, especially when it comes to running and dribbling and even finishing chances. Like even that goal that he scored today, right?
He's
amazing chance. He's a freaking killer. And Germany is so lucky with the amount of talent that they have. And I feel that if they go all the way, he should be their best player, or how do we say it? The player of the tournament. I would say, because the star. He is an absolute star. I think people are saying Kroos, blah blah blah. This guy is a star, and you know what? I'm really impressed. I saw him at Bayern.
Sorry, Emma.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, he's just amazing. Like, I would kill for for him to be at United, but it is what it is. We always, look from afar in the last few years, and unfortunately, he's another player that we look from afar and admire him. He is just so good.
Do you know what I also really like? Is he's so committed to his defensive duties. He made a lot of really good blocks and things like that. But Stefan, for me, I've always kind of had this thing with Phil Foden where I'm not anywhere near as enamored as Phil Foden as most people are, because I feel he only has one gear, which is go, like Charlie Sheen. Like when he gets the ball, he just goes. But when Musiala, the beautiful way he takes it and does that La Croqueta sort of Iniesta movement. I mean, what are we looking at in terms of this player?
I genuinely think he's a very, very special talent, and I think he looks so natural doing everything. It nearly looks kind of effortless to him, but you can tell at the same time he's really going for it as well. He can drive, he can pass, he can come inside. He wins a lot of free kicks as well, which is good. He knows how to use his body to alleviate the pressure as well, which is something maybe not a lot of young players have. And I think in this tournament, you're getting a real spotlight on him. But obviously, he's been doing this for Bayern Munich for the last year or two, maybe even longer. But you can really see why Pep would love him at City, and why they've tried a couple of times to try get him in, because I think he maybe is what most people think Foden is, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Foden's a bad player. Foden is exceptional in his own right, but I don't know, the man. Musiala is genuinely, he's genuinely a star in that team, and they're lucky, man, because they've got Musiala, they've got Wirtz coming through as well, can play on the other side, and they're both so good at what they do, unbelievable players. And yeah, I mean, Germany, they've really hit the jackpot with those two.
Interesting though that Wirtz was dropped this evening for Sane to sort of give a bit. I think that was more a mark of respect to Denmark, because they've got good strong players out in wide areas, and Sane, I mean, he's a frustrating player. He's sort of like the German Rashford in some ways, but he's such a beautiful mover on the ball. I remember Højlund gave the ball away trying to hold it up, and Sane went on a good 20, 30 meter run with the ball, just gliding like a swan. Outrageous.
Yeah.
But let's have a look at some comments. This is a disgusting comment to read. Big game in the Copa America tonight. Canada against Chile. What is going on? Canada in the Copa America.
How is sorry? I need to ask DK Wilson. How does he feel about USA losing to Panama?
No way.
Yeah, that was last night. That was
Yeah, I mean, I would be devastated. I would be fuming against Panama. DK, please tell us how do you feel?
I've been to Panama. It's just a city. There's nothing else there apart from a canal. Although interestingly, it was set up as a Scottish colony. Do you know that Scotland tried to colonise Panama, bankrupted the country? That's completely true. They all died of malaria, and they took half the nation's wealth with them.
Oh my God.
MK is saying that Eriksen, unless he retires from football, he will be called up again.
So he's like Modric.
Well, I think that we'll get on to sort of the decisions in a minute. I think Denmark were riotously unlucky tonight. I'm really disappointed for them. And MK, Musiala is quite good, and he's going to get even better. You can just tell he's not done developing. A scary prospect. Simon wants to see Mainu start it instead of Foden, have Palmer on too. So tomorrow night, I think after the Spain game, we're going to have Mr. B, Early Doors, and Anthony Herbert on. So it'll be after the Spain game, not after the England game. So hopefully you can have all calmed down by then, because God knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Bath Time is having a right polish over Musiala here. I always like to be sexualised. Thank you. Sane has never been to Belfast. That's very good, Steph. You can't laugh at us. Canada has some great players. In the World Cup, we got robbed and should have beat Belgium. I'm laughing at you because you shouldn't be anywhere near the Copa America. I've watched, my great dislike of Bielsa comes from watching Chile in the Copa America, where I went and saw them get beat 3-0 by, who was it? It was Bolivia. All right, here we go. More Panama chat. US went down a man because of a stupid reaction face smack. Even the US have enough talent to win, but Panama then beat them up and the US folded. Shout out General Noriega. Right, anyway, the decisions tonight. Dora, I'm going to start with you. We saw a goal. So the goal that was chalked off for Germany, I think, was absolutely fair.
Yeah,
we saw a goal
I failed to watch the replay, guys. I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. I failed to watch that replay because they didn't show it immediately.
We had to walk a dog.
Yeah.
Right. Talk to me about the penalty and the offside goal.
Okay, so penalty. When I saw that freaking CSI technology, I was waiting for Horatio Kane to come out of nowhere and say, take out, put on his glass and say, yeah, like the sound waves. I mean, it clipped his hand, and if your country was in it or whatever, we would say that that's a pen. His hand or arm was far from his body. Of course, Oliver is going to say it's a pen. It's a pen. The offside is ridiculous. Next time when any defender starts the game, they need to cut off their toes before they go on the pitch. So yeah, do the OG Cinderella story of two half sisters, cutting off their toes to fit in for their feet to fit in that glass shoe, because I mean it's ridiculous, right? And I know people are going to say, oh, but it's fair, it was in the end, but it's so unlucky for Denmark. I felt that I felt that they could have won it, in all honesty.
Mm.
And I know it sounds far fetched, and I know, but when you look out throughout the game, at one point they were even dominating the possession and they were pressuring Germany. And until that moment, and later, that disallowed goal, and Anderson, unfortunately, losing to freaking CSI, sound wave technology, like it's really unlucky, and I really felt bad for them. And it is what it is. That's modern football, I would say, right? That's modern football. That's technology, and even though it kind of leaves a sore taste in our mouths sometimes, and it sounds ridiculous, especially when I saw that's like I cannot tell you enough. When I saw those sound waves, on my screen, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It's like that. It's like that episode of CSI New York when they are trying to identify a bank robber in victim's eye socket. On the reflection
What,
of
the
the eye
reflection
socket.
of the eye?
Yeah, and of course,
Nice.
insane. Oh my god, insane! And of course, Mythbusters, they debunked it. It's impossible. But of course, CSI New York didn't identify a freaking perpetrator from reflection of the eye. But yeah, it's really unlucky for Denmark. And yeah, I don't know how you felt about Mike Oliver.
Well,
This,
we'll get on to that. We've got some comments to address before we get to Stefan. First of all, it's very topical, but we're talking about the Copa America. Look, Mr. POTUS, I spent a very large part of my footballing life in South America. For me, it's a South American competition. It doesn't matter what I think, but what I would genuinely prefer for like Canada, Mexico, and the United States to do is to kind of build their own identity in football, because it's something that when I look at the sort of fans of American football clubs, and I don't know if you can include the Vancouver Sounders in this, I feel that instead of trying to create their own identity, they're trying to sort of copy other things. And I think that for the good of the game in those countries, they should develop, they shouldn't try and latch on to other competitions. They should try and develop their own. But that is just my opinion. And it's obviously wrong because you are in the Copa America. Right, DK Wilson. Exactly, Dora. That was sad. If his movement was taken into account, his arm position was natural, and the toe. Agreed, Dora. I think DK Wilson's agreeing with you, Dora. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
I understand why it's a pen, according to the written rules. However, the player literally shot it at his hand, but his hand shouldn't have been there in the first place for that to happen. Steph. No coincidence, controversy when Premier League officials are in charge. They cannot help themselves. Those incompetent British people again.
Yeah.
Then to watch the grossly overhyped Havertz convert the penalty. It made me ill. Michael Oliver sucks. Is he one of those refs who likes being the centre of attention? All right, Dora, you wanted to make this about referees and talk about Michael Oliver. Come on, right, Stefan, Dora, has Michael Oliver once again ruined the Euros for fans? Is this English referees being useless?
Go on, Stefan.
Right. Okay. I guess we'll start off. From what I can remember, there's been 2 matches where I think there's been really bad VAR decisions. There was a match with the Dutch where Xavi Simons got a really weird goal disallowed that took forever on VAR, and eventually they got there, and everybody still thought it was the wrong decision, and that was Michael Oliver and Stuart Atwell. And then we had tonight, again, yes, okay, the Danish defender's toes offside. Yes, we're using CSI. What was it called? A stichometer or something to measure sound waves within the football. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like a grumpy old man at this point, just shouting like this isn't the game we grew up watching, but it's not. I don't know. I just feel like our referees in England have been really bad. You know, for a long time. For watching the Premier League week in, week out, there's always something. There is never a weekend without an incident, and the only real argument we ever get is, bad decisions go against every team, so it balances each other out rather than actually addressing the problems. I don't think it's unique to English referees. I'm positive if you went to Spain and asked about the refereeing standards in La Liga or did it in Germany for the Bundesliga, everybody will complain. The referee is always going to be the target of the abuse. Because look, if you give the decision one way, then the other team's fans, their players, their managers are going to feel aggrieved, and that's kind of the way it always goes. But I don't know. I can remember 2 matches with 2 bad refereeing calls, and Michael Oliver's been at the heart of it all in both matches. And I don't know. I'll leave it at that.
I'm standing up for British referees right now. Every top league in Europe in the last 20 years has had a match fixing or corruption scandal, except for the English league. I think that we have seen huge scrutiny come on refs since the introduction of VAR, because it's very apparent to me that no one really knows the rules of football. The players, the pundits, the managers, with the fans, we don't actually know what the rules of football are, which is why we always say things like, for me, that's not a penalty. Or, for me, whatever. It doesn't matter if it's for you or not, it's the rules. And as Big G says here, to be fair to Michael Oliver, he's reffing to the written rules. If he doesn't go by the written rules, FIFA won't use him in the future. And I think that this is the case, is that it's the rules that are a problem, not the people officiating them. For me, I think that all decisions made tonight were the correct decisions. I think it was a penalty. I think it was offside. And I think the goal should have been disallowed. What I don't agree with, though, is what's brilliant about World Cups and Euros and stuff like that is that for up until the last 5 years, they've always had the same rules that I have had when I've played in different leagues or in Sunday League or whatever. And now they have got things like a snickometer, right? The second that the snickometer shows anything, it's their fancy new toy, they're going to use it. It's the correct decision, but that's not fair because not everyone gets that. A League Two player doesn't get that. A Championship player doesn't get that. So I don't think these things should be in the game. And I hate the fact that that guy is offside. And Jockey Anderson, I hate the fact he's offside, but he is offside. And the decision has been done kind of fairly. But it's so annoying that technology is in the game now, because I think human error is one of the beautiful things about football. Like, it's something you've got to sort of get over and stuff. And now we've got computers and AI and fucking CSI Belgrade stuff going on. It's incredibly annoying. But enough of me. And also, another thing is that on this channel, I like to support referees because in the lower leagues down the pyramid, it's becoming harder and harder to find referees that are willing to ref football matches because of the abuse that fan channels have kind of normalized. So we're not going to normalize that here.
Yeah.
Saying that, if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's probably an English ref. It's official. Our officials are the best in the world. Not. Maybe we should get one of Dora's chickens to referee the match.
No.
It's because your refs have become shit. The level of English reffing has gone down with the introduction of VAR. Okay. All right. Am I being too kind to refs? Was that a disaster class from Michael Oliver?
I don't know. Like, I agree with you guys. I don't necessarily think that it was a disaster class. It's just that, whenever you see, for example, the guy that refed the Swiss-Italy game, is he a Polish guy or whatever? Like, the way he refs the game and the way the game flows when he in that game, it's of course due to teams playing, but the way he refs it, right? I think he had a perfect game today. I forgot his name. I'm so sorry, but the Polish ref that refed the previous game, right? The Swiss and Italy. He was really good. Like, he refed. He called fouls that were fouls. He let the flow of the game in the right time. He was everywhere, and when I unfortunately see, and I don't want to be one of those people saying, "Oh my God, it's the refs, it's the refs, it's their fault." I watch mostly English Premier League, and when I see UEFA Champions League games and when I see English Premier League games, it's vastly different. Not saying that all of a sudden the foreigners or the other European refs are better. It's just the way they
The system.
conduct their decisions, and the way they organize is much more better and much more efficient. And that's my issue, and I think that's an issue in England. If they just would stop being egoistic sometimes, and Mike Oliver is a bit egoistic. He doesn't want to look at the screen, even though it's there, and we had the problem with Paul Tierney, the Liverpool, I think for Liverpool game, and Wolverhampton game. Like, there is an issue in England that needs to be addressed. And I think that when that gets addressed, I think the standards of the refereeing in England and the English refs are going to be much better. That's my take on the whole situation.
Well, my first thing is that the English league is the only league where a beach ball has scored against Liverpool. So, like that,
goated beach ball.
Brilliant. I do think you're right, actually, because I think everyone will know who David Ellery is. I think everyone will know who Howard Webb is. Like, these are referees who started maybe 20 years ago, and I think that the cult of personality around the ref is pretty big. I'm absolutely disgusted with what Mike Clattenburg did by becoming, I can't remember what it was. Is it like head ref relations for Nottingham Forest?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Stefan, what are your thoughts on the standard of reffing and the competition so far and its broader implications?
Yeah, Joe, one thing, like, I always go back to, it's one of the first times like I ever really realized that there was problems with refereeing in the Premier League. I must have been maybe like 14, maybe. I don't know if anyone remembers, but Gareth Crooks went on a big rant about Mike Dean on Final Score on BBC One. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this. By Bad Times Laughter, maybe he has, but it kind of came from that there. But I think, like, even watching, for me, one of the best and most entertaining matches we've had in this championships has been Belgium versus Romania. It was maybe the last week. Referee let a lot go, a lot of tackles, a lot of 50-50s, wasn't blowing it up. It was a really entertaining match. And then it's like what I sent you the other day as well, between Turkey and the Czechs. We got 20 bookings in one match, 20 bookings and yellows and red cards and stuff. So you're always going to have, a real difference whenever you're bringing referees from different leagues who are refereeing under different association rules, who are in different environments, etc. You're always going to have differences, I guess, and maybe it's just in the Premier League we're more used to it, or whatever. I don't know, but it does beg the question, like, because it seemed to be every single week we were getting like official apologies from PG, MOL, or Pigmo, whatever you call it, about we got this wrong, apologies for this, we got that wrong, whatever. And then it felt like the referee would make a decision the next week to try even it out against the team, because we got some really weird refereeing calls as well. And I don't know if that's because of the pressure, like, from the media, from maybe ourselves and other people on social media as well, about referees or whatever. I don't know.
It's an expression,
it's just frustrating. Like, yeah, it is. It's just like expressing how you feel in the moment. But I don't know. I feel like maybe just we're always looking for something to blame. Who knows?
Well, there is an expression, Stefan, in warfare, which is you always fight the last war. So when you go to, like, if you fought the Iraq War or something, use the tactics and equipments that won you that war, and you go on. And I find that with refereeing, it's almost like they're correcting the mistakes from the last game, and that's why we don't get a lot of consistency. But the other thing is that there's right. This is the last point we're going to make about refs. There's cultural differences between leagues. So the technical definition of culture is acquired knowledge, right? So it means it's not something you're born with, it's something you learn from someone else. And in, like, for example, in Latin America, they love a bit of diving, they love a bit of cheating, in the same way that people like, Dora, are you familiar with Blackadder? You know Red
Ooh.
Dwarf?
Oh,
Sorry?
yeah. Red Dwarf,
Yeah.
the series, right?
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
in Red Dwarf, and this is similar to Blackadder, you have a master-servant relationship where Rimmer is the master, Lister is the servant, and then in Blackadder, Blackadder is the servant. It's from something called Commedia dell'arte, which is where the clever servant outwits the master. And that is something that is very prevalent in Latin cultures, where it's good to outwit someone. Whereas, like in England, we like honest violence. Like, we like Roy Keane stamping on people. We like Cantona, like Bruce Leeing it into the crowd and stuff. And I think that maybe when we take someone like Michael Oliver to the Euros, that cultural appreciation, or the things that we value in our culture, is reflected in the refereeing. And I wouldn't change the English game for anything. So I'm quite happy with our refs. But we've got 5 minutes left. And rather than talking about Blackadder and Latin American refereeing, I want to know who's going to win the Euros. Germany were the red hot favourites for us, Dora. Are they still?
Sorry about that. So we looked at the other, since our last conversation and our kind of analysis of Germany being the heavy favorites. I still feel that way, in all honesty. I think that Denmark is a really good team, and I think their experience of playing together for many years gave Germany a lot of trouble. But I think Germany is capable of beating other big teams in this tournament. I believe that we are yet to see someone like France actually start scoring goals. They are in a mud when it comes to that. England as well. I'm sorry, guys. Probably aesthetically one of the worst football I saw from that talented country, and maybe they are going to get better as the tournament goes on, or if they win against someone like Slovakia. But I still feel that Germany, besides maybe Spain, stylistically is the most. I think they have the best fundamentals. I think they have a clear style that they want to play, and that's amazing, right? I think that it helped that most of them, some of them played under Julian Nagelsmann. He knows his players. At Bayer Leverkusen, some of them played the similar kind of a similar, I would say, system. They understand their system, and it's a German way. I feel. I think I need them to see a bit better defensively, because few times this tournament we saw, especially against Switzerland, even today we saw Germany kind of making mistakes. For example, Manuel Neuer, displacing passes in dangerous situations where the opposing teams are getting it. If they get their defense a bit better, slightly better, I think they can stroll through these Euros. And I know it's kind of an easy answer, but the way they play, I think that kind of team is really hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. I'm yet to see someone like France actually playing. Belgium is in a rough situation as well. Netherlands is kind of on and off, but I honestly never believe in them that much, because they always fumble it in the knockout stages.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will be. And Spain is there. It will be interesting to see how they play against. Who are they playing in the next game? They're
Spain?
having. Yeah.
Is it Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah. They are going to probably park the bus and try to hit them on the counter. It's really, I'm really interested to see how are they going to play against that kind of team. So yeah, I believe that Germany is actually a heavy favorite for this tournament.
So Stefan, do you agree with Germany being the heavy favourites, or does a lack of a real out-and-out goal scorer worry you for them?
No, I would still say Germany. I thought Germany could be very good coming into this tournament. They've turned out to be very good during this tournament. You look at the main teams you might say would be the opposition or the strongest contenders. England just stalling, just don't look like they're going to get going. France can't get out of first or second gear really. I think Spain have maybe played some of the best football in the tournament in terms of actually sitting down and actually enjoying it. Watching Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal just running people, and I think they'll go. I think they'll go through against Georgia. I think they'll win tomorrow. But for me, it's still Germany. I just think the other big contenders just have to find more. I haven't been really impressed with Portugal.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I was expecting more from them. I don't know. It just you always kind of get the feeling with Portugal that it's just still centered around Ronaldo at this point. Maybe to too much of a degree, where in the past, getting Ronaldo as many opportunities in a match would get you far in a tournament because he was just that good. But I just don't know anymore. But I think tomorrow will be interesting. England will have to show up and break down Slovakia, which is something they haven't been able to do. They couldn't do it against Slovenia. They couldn't do it really against Serbia. They won that match. But even before, in their warm-ups, they couldn't do it against Iceland. Couldn't break them down. Couldn't make opportunities. So tomorrow will be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to those matches because it will be two games where you've got attack versus defense. Georgia will sit back and try to break just like they did against Portugal. That'll be their game plan. Slovakia, they'll be... What is it, sorry?
Are you worried for England? Maybe extra time penalties?
I don't know. It might be one of those matches the longer they go without scoring, the more frustrated they get, and I'm not too sure. It depends what they're going to do. There's talk on social media, it might be Trent back in midfield again tomorrow. Which
really?
I can't see. Yeah, I see not floating about. Gallagher not going to get starting, which might disappoint yourself. And I know there's still a clamour for Wharton and for Manu to start, for Palmer to come in, for Anthony Gordon. But I don't know. It just looks like Southgate's not going to change it up. I don't know though. It'll be an interesting one to see tomorrow anyway.
I sort of think that England probably gets stronger in extra time because these players come on. You get your Palmers and your Whartons. Although I'm still not completely sold on Wharton, and we haven't seen him in international football yet. But let's have a look at some comments before we end for the evening. If Germany lose, then I will go for Portugal or Spain. Austria winners would be a story for Wreck-It Ralph. God, Steph, bloody. I mean, imagine if Ralph won the Euros and Bielsa won the Copa America. It'd be an awful summer for me. I'll put it out there nice and early. Germany versus England final. England wins it on German turf. My God, that would be brilliant. A reverse of Euro 96. That would be incredible.
Poetic on their ground. Oh my God. Oh, what a story.
I like the poetry of that.
Yeah.
It kind of rhymes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
England needs to be shown where the net is and also show Kane where it is. We have relied too much on Bellingham scoring. Agree. Germany and Spain look the best. If it can be arranged for Southgate to become ill, England can win. Oh, poor Gareth Southgate. Oh, look, Andrew's late. I wonder why he's late. He's been playing Tetris. So England, Simon's English, I can see from his driving license, provisional. We have an easy run, but anything can happen in football. There have been quite a few surprises so far. Don't underestimate the Swiss or Slovakia. I have to say, for me, I think Austria are gonna do someone based just off that press. I think they'll struggle against the more intricate teams, but I think they might get a big result. Who are Austria playing next?
Oh, Turkey. Oh my God. Ottoman Empire and Habsburg monarchy. Oh my God.
This is why the Euros is the best.
Historical one, yeah.
It's the best. Do you know how many Turkish people are in Austria right now? Oh my God, it's going to be
And
it's
Germany.
and Germany, yeah. Oh my God, that's a historic. And funnily enough, Croatia was part of that conflict as well, so many years ago. But yeah, it will be interesting to see. It will be a great game, an amazing game. It will be.
I've got a very good track record with Turks, so big up the Turks. This is pretty good. Trent on the Rhine. Steph, that's brilliant. All right, now unless I'm happy to carry on because I'm halfway through my bottle of red and I'm going to finish it a little bit later. Is there anything that either of you want to discuss about United or anything in general?
Just had a look at the brackets there. It could be England-Austria semi-final.
Oh, thank God.
Could England be the one that they just do? Could they just catch with their press? I mean, England don't have a left side. They don't have a left back or a left-footed centre back.
Is Shaw not back for Slovakia though?
I think he's still training individually, man.
I thought he was training with the team today.
Maybe he was, and I just missed it. But I don't know.
I mean, who would you want to win that, Stefan?
I don't know, man. That could be an interesting one to watch. But I really don't know. I really don't know what might happen there. What else? I think Romania and Netherlands would be a good one as well. I know you enjoy watching Romania, man. So
I love
that'll be
Romania.
a good one on Monday. That there will be goals in that match, plenty of them.
I'm a huge fan of Romania. It's like maybe it's because I hate Brazil, and Brazil, like everyone loves. I hate Brazil, Dora, and Argentina. But that gold shirt that Brazil have is wonderful and it's iconic. Maybe it's something like that. We got Andrew said Austria Switzerland semi-final, the Ski Sunday Derby. Wow, that would be incredible if that was a semi-final, one of Austria or Switzerland there. Dora, is there anything that you want to discuss with us? Manuel Ugarte, Xerxes, a refreshingly different striker.
Yeah, what do you think about Ugarte? I think those links. I'm
dreadful player.
Really, yeah. Really. Oh my God. Oh,
I think he's dreadful.
Okay, that's my last topic of the night. I would love to discuss more, but
yeah, it's bedtime, isn't it?
20-1, and I'm still sweating like a hooker in the church. You say, right? Yeah, that's a good analogy, I would say. But yeah, I'm sweating. So
my brother in Christ.
Bože sačuvaj. I will say it just in Christian.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it there. But tomorrow, around 10:15, please tune in for Mr. B, Anthony, and Unearthly Doors. It's going to be the England reaction, proper England fans, except for Mr. B. And we'd love you to spend that time with us. And we'll be talking Manchester United during the week when the Euros are on. But first of all, go and subscribe to to Stefan at United Philosophy. And everyone, let's say goodbyes. So, Stefan.
Yeah, guys, thanks so much again for having me on. Always love doing these shows. Good to check up with Dora and Bath Time as always. And yeah, I'm going to be live tomorrow at some point as well. So make sure to hop on if you're free, if you spot a notification. Would appreciate it.
What, are you doing a watch along?
No, I'll not do watch along. I'll probably do a stream between matches. That's kind of what I've been doing for most of the tournament. So I'll probably be on about 7.
Okay. Dora, what's going on?
I'm going to sleep. Tomorrow is Sunday. I'm going to make lunch. I'm going to chill and watch some games after. And, stay inside because it's another heat wave coming in. I'm, probably going to be inside within AC. But yeah, always great pleasure with you guys, talking about football, talking about my chicken or whatever. But yeah, it's always a pleasure. So yeah, laku noć and have a great evening or, whatever, wherever you are, day, evening or whatever.
Okay, Scorchio.